Emma is a Latina hairdresser. As stay-at-home orders went into effect and large parts of the economy shut down, she is among the tens of millions of workers who have lost their jobs in just a couple of months. A closer look at data show how that economic pain is distributed among Americans. And it turns out that job losses during the pandemic have fallen disproportionately on people like Emma. Here's how gender, occupation, and race data can help us understand record unemployment numbers. It's actually unique to this unemployment crisis that women have been the hardest hit.
In previous recessions, women tended to fare better than men.
Men held the dominant share of jobs in sectors like manufacturing and construction, which typically bear the brunt of an economic downturn. During the 2009 financial crisis, unemployment among men reached 11.1%, compared to a peak of 9% for women. This period also marked the first time in U.S. history that women outnumbered men in the workforce, since many of them had occupations in sectors that were more resilient during a recession, like education or healthcare. Economists say many married women who hadn't been employed also joined the workforce to replace or supplement their partner's lost income. By 2019, women outnumbered men in the U.S. paid workforce for the second time in history.
Growth in service sector professions actually allowed women to overtake men as the dominant share of all non-farm payrolls that occurred, at the end of last year.
But the pandemic has now upended that.
Women account for about 77% of workers in occupations that require close personal contact and can't easily be done remotely, which is, a lot of those jobs have been hit by the social distancing measures. And so those are jobs in food preparation, healthcare support, and personal service, for instance. The unemployment rates for both Black and Hispanic women were higher than the unemployment rate for white women.
If you dive a bit deeper into the data, you see that those service sector jobs that can't be done from home employ more Black and Latinas. For many, working from home is not an option.
People are having to make very difficult choices between what's best for their economic well-being and what's best for their health and public safety.
Valerie Wilson is an economist and director of the Race and Ethnicity program at the Economic Policy Institute. She stresses that economic insecurity isn't the only hurdle Hispanic and Black women face.
Workers of color are in a very difficult predicament based on their position in the labor market and in this economy and society as a whole.
Data show that women tend to spend more time than men with household responsibilities and childcare, making job searches much harder. On top of that, most Black and Latinas who work in low-paid jobs are also the sole or primary breadwinners in their households, according to a women's rights group. Wilson and other economists expect the road to recovery to be even steeper for Black women and Latinas.
I think getting back to work will be harder for women and women of color in particular, because when we recover, the same jobs that were lost probably will not return as quickly. So that will be one factor in a slower recovery in those communities.